Now, if you were looking for a crash course at Crown Critter, Clown Goblin, the AKA Derangers logic, you need look no further than the interwebs talking about the nomination of Meghan, the Duchess of Sussex's show with Love Meghan for an Emmy nomination. Take this deranger specifically, according to Taz. She's one of the big-time anti-Sussex accounts over there on YouTube and Twitter. And this is what she had to say when she found out that Meghan's show was nominated for an Emmy. According to her artist formerly known as Twitter page, she nominated herself. All you have to do is be a producer and pay a fee. Archwell Productions produced the show. Well, at least it was credited as having done so. No way I believe Netflix would want to remind the world of how much money they wasted on this ish show. That show that was in the top 10 in over 26 countries. A lifestyle show that lifestyle shows never crack the top 10, but it's such a show. From the way Taz talks about the Emmys, you would think that she would think that the Emmys were just trash, that they're easily bought. Anybody could buy one. So being Emmy nominated or being an Emmy winner is not such a big deal. It's not such a big ticket. So she would have no love for the Emmys, right? Well, that depends on who's getting a nomination. Because let's see what happens if someone like Eugene Levy is nominated for 2 episodes of The Reluctant Traveler, one of which has Prince William in them. Suddenly, the Emmys are quite alright, and this is Taz's tune now. I hope this wins. It was a brilliant episode. I fell in love with Eugene as well as he's such a lovely man. I hope they work together again because they had such a lovely and warm rapport with each other. It was so lovely to watch. Now, Taz, did you say that anybody who was nominated bought their nomination? So shouldn't you be rallying at Eugene about how he paid to be nominated and that he's not actually the one nominated, that it's his production team, despite him being the founder and owner of said production team? Shouldn't you be up in arms and talking about how the Emmys done fell off and it's just a ball award now and ain't nothing more than a shell? Almost as if your tune changes with the royal up on deck, but I'm just saying. No, I'm not thinking she's a hypocrite and got double standards. I'm stating it plainly. So yeah, it is hilarious to me how these type of accounts have built up a great following of people who just dislike Meghan Markle. And they will listen to these people speak out verbatim, but not notice the double standards and hypocrisy. But then again, I wouldn't notice it either if all I'm there for is to be served a heavy dose of hate against a person. Logic has no need to enter the chat, as we can see. Even if Logic would let us know that maybe I shouldn't speak on this because it would make it obvious that the only smoke I have for this award is the person who was nominated and not the actual awards, or that I think anything is bad about it. I just think that this person deserves nothing. I have no reason to believe they deserve nothing, but it's my bag. It's my bread and butter. That's how I get down, and all my followers visibly hate this woman, and therefore I have to make up any and every excuse to hate on her, even if I turn around and reveal my complete hypocrisy and complete abject double standard I have that may be rooted in misogynoir and other things as well. But what would I know? I'm just an American just by my mouth off on this app. But then again, so are some of these dang gone anti-Sussex pages, because they have realized that these people pretty much are easily pickpocketed if you just give them something to hate on. But let it pass things.
Definitely one of the biggest reasons that the British tabloid press, the British royal family, and their derangers are spiraling because of With Love Meghan's Emmy nomination is because they've spent so much time, like the past 10 years, they've been trying to convince themselves and us and everybody else that Meghan's career in Hollywood was really stupid and trivial and not worthy and, nothing to write home about, simply because she wasn't somebody who ever won an Oscar. As if that's the only measure for being an actor. Like, you need to have won an Oscar. Like, this one really specific thing that not a lot of people even get nominated for. Like, she was supposed to achieve that in order to prove that she was worthy of being a person, that she was worthy of being in love with a prince, that she was worthy of being married by that prince and having kids by that prince and being chosen by that prince, such that they now live in California. Like, they've spent so much time trying to quantify her life in metrics and measures that they are setting for her, not even things that she is aspiring to by herself, right? Additionally, they've spent the past year trying to convince everybody that this show is terrible, that this show is the worst thing that's ever been produced on the planet in the history of TV shows, of lifestyle shows, of Hollywood, of anything. But here's the thing, the show is good. Like, we've been telling y'all, With Love Meghan is a genuinely amazing show. It got me into cooking. It got me into fucking eating again. And I don't understand how people don't see like the positives of that. Like, even if you personally hate Meghan, right? This woman did something that inspired a whole bunch of people to start exploring with making their food pretty, gardening, getting freaking apiary kits and raising bees. Like, I've seen countless people with their videos, with their stories, telling us how this show inspired them to try new things. And it turns out that the critics agree. Like, the critics are like, yeah, all of this impact, all of this goodness deserves to be rewarded. Like, I'm not saying she's gonna win, right? Because that's the other thing derangers are gonna come in here and say, is that, oh, is she even gonna win? I don't care if she wins. She got the nomination. She got the acknowledgement. She got the applause. And she didn't even need that, because I think the show already did what it was meant to do. Like she says in the show itself, her aim is just to make things a little more beautiful, to make your day a little more beautiful, like to plate your food a little more intentionally. And because I know I'm gonna get the kind of deranger that's like, well, she bought the nomination. Girl, she can't both be broke and buying nominations at the same time. You all need to pick a lane. Is she broke or is she buying nominations? Like, which one is it? And with that, I guess I'm back to making my usual normal content and cue the bigots, I guess. Cue the bigots. My mental capacity is back, bitches. I'm ready to fight y'all.
Guys, watch in real time how the media tries to downplay, discredit, disparage everything Meghan does or achieves. So this is what Hello Magazine had to write. Imagine someone nominated for an award, Emmy Award, and they're telling you it's nothing to shout about. Doesn't that sound like sour grapes? Doesn't that sound like a loser trying to cope? And because they have a platform, they're using that platform and spreading that BS. But this same publication, Hello Magazine, had this to write about Kate Middleton. She stuns by walking in heels across muddy grass. Literally every woman I know who's worn heels has had to walk in them in muddy grass. How is that an achievement? Imagine saying a woman who was nominated for an Emmy, not something a lot of women can claim has happened to them, is nothing to shout about, but you cry and praise a woman because she walks in heels across muddy grass. Do you see why they're jealous? Do you see where all of this attacks against Meghan by the press? Do you see why it stems from jealousy, envy, bitterness, anger? The fact that the leftover royals have absolutely nothing to praise than them walking in heels across muddy grass. But Meghan is going from strength to strength. This isn't the first time she was nominated for an award. She's won several. Now look at these other examples of why these clowns are so jealous. Prince William's documentary branded abject failure. You see why they're jealous? Viewers switching off during an extra show on TV. See why they're jealous? The ratings for his documentary is so low, no one's interested and no one's watching. Do you see why they're jealous? Because we've been told in the past that Prince William controls the media. So they do his bidding. They try to prop the royal family up. They try to prop them up when they're doing the most basic, the most mediocre things. And then they're trying to tell us that being nominated for an Emmy is nothing to shout about. Sour grapes, anyone? So when you see them write negative things, articles about things that Meghan and Harry achieve, you know exactly why they're doing it. The roles are basic, mediocre. Some even call them lazy. The only time you see them actually do any work is when Meghan and Harry are in town or doing things across the world. That's the only time you see William and Kate actually do anything. And we know what they call work. Football matches, tennis match, that is work for them. So yes, being nominated, your work being nominated for an Emmy award is something to shout about. It's not something everyone can lay claims to. Don't let the media fool you. Don't let the Rangers tears fool you.
Now, squaddies, can we be honest for a minute? Some people don't actually have a problem with your failure. They have a problem with your success. There's a huge difference. Watch how fast the conversation changes the moment somebody starts winning. Before Meghan's Emmy nomination, the story was she'll never be taken seriously in Hollywood. Then she gets nominated. Suddenly it's, well, an Emmy nomination isn't that impressive. Wait, what? Yesterday it was impossible. Today it's ordinary. Which one is it? You can't have both. And that's something regular people deal with every single day. You finally land your dream job. Somebody says, you probably knew someone. You start a business. It's just beginner's luck. You buy your first home. You paid too much. You lose weight. You'll probably gain it back. Some folks will move the finish line so many times they should be working for a football stadium. Nothing is ever enough. And here's the funny part. If Meghan hadn't received the nomination, we'd probably be hearing, see, nobody in the industry respects her. Now that she has the nomination, it's not that big of a deal. Squaddies, pick a lane. Because this isn't really about the award anymore. It's about refusing to admit you got somebody wrong. That's a hard pill for some people to swallow, especially after spending years predicting disaster. Think about it. For years we heard the same soundtrack. She's finished. Nobody's watching. Hollywood doesn't want her. Then reality walks into the room and completely ruins the script. That's got to sting. And honestly, we've all met people like that. The friend who suddenly goes quiet when you're doing well. The neighbor who finds something negative to say no matter what. The coworker who can't even say congratulations without adding a little insult on the end. Oh, that's nice, but there's always a but. At some point, you've got to laugh. Because if someone is determined not to give you credit, you could climb Mount Everest before breakfast, and they'd say, well, the weather helped. You can't win with that mindset, so why even try? What I like about Meghan's approach is that she doesn't seem interested in chasing everyone's approval. She keeps creating. She keeps building. She keeps taking on new projects. She lets the work speak first, and that's a lesson all of us can use. Not everybody will celebrate your progress. Some people are too busy protecting the opinion they had about you 5 years ago. Let them. While they're busy rewriting the rules, you keep writing your story. Because here's what I've learned. When people keep changing the standard every time you achieve something, they're not measuring your success anymore. They're protecting their pride. And that's a battle you don't need to fight. Just keep moving, keep growing, keep surprising the people who already decided what your limits were. Eventually, your results become louder than their excuses. And that's exactly why this Emmy nomination matters. Not because it suddenly made Meghan successful, but because it became one more reminder that no matter how many times the goalposts get dragged across the field, real progress has a funny habit of catching up with the truth.
Now, squaddies, let me ask you a serious question. If Meghan is supposedly finished, why can't people stop talking about her? I'm genuinely curious. Every time she drops something, the internet wakes up like somebody hit the fire alarm. A new Netflix project? Everybody has an opinion. A podcast? Suddenly everybody's an audio critic. A business launch? People are counting products before they've even hit the shelves. A recipe? Folks are arguing over pasta like it's the World Cup final. An Emmy nomination? Now everybody suddenly wants to explain why Emmy nominations don't matter. Really? Because that's not how people behave when they don't care. Let's be honest. Nobody spends hours discussing someone they think is irrelevant. I don't sit around reviewing TV shows I don't watch. I don't spend my afternoon complaining about restaurants I've never been to. Life's too short. So when people keep saying nobody cares about Meghan while publishing article number 847 about her this month, come on now, who are we kidding? Here's how I look at it. Forget the headlines for a second. Follow the opportunities. Companies don't spend millions because they're bored. Streaming platforms don't keep investing just to make tabloids happy. Industry professionals don't hand out nominations as charity. These people are chasing audiences. They're chasing attention. They're chasing results. That's business. And business doesn't run on feelings. It runs on numbers. If people weren't interested, the phone would stop ringing. It's really that simple.
That's why I laugh when someone says Meghan has no influence. Then 5 minutes later, they're talking about her latest project, her latest appearance, or her latest achievement. You've accidentally answered your own question. You don't create that much conversation by disappearing. You create it by staying relevant. And this isn't just about Meghan. It's something regular people see all the time. There's always that person in town everyone claims they don't like, yet somehow everybody knows exactly what they're doing every weekend. How? If you're following somebody's every move, maybe they're more important to your day than you're willing to admit. That's the funny part. Some critics spend so much time trying to prove Meghan doesn't matter that they end up reminding the whole world she does. They're basically running free promotions without sending an invoice. You couldn't make it up. At some point, you've got to separate internet noise from what's happening in real life. The comments section is one thing, the real world is another. Projects keep launching, deals keep happening, people keep watching, recognition keeps coming. That doesn't happen by accident. And here's the biggest lesson. Influence isn't measured by whether everybody likes you. It's measured by whether people keep paying attention. Years after stepping away from royal duties, she's still driving conversations across entertainment, business, lifestyle, and the media. That's not somebody fading away. That's somebody who's become bigger than the headlines written about her. The headlines come and go. The attention stays. And that's why the conversation never really ends.
Can I tell you what I think has really changed? The internet flipped the whole game upside down. Years ago, a handful of newspapers acted like they were the bosses of public opinion. If they liked you, great. If they didn't, good luck. They acted like they owned the remote control to your career. Fast forward to today, people have their own remote, and trust me, they're using it. If viewers like your content, they'll hit play. If they don't, they'll scroll past in about 2 seconds. It's that simple. Nobody can force millions of people to keep watching something they don't enjoy. That's why I chuckle every time someone says the media has finished Meghan. Finished? Really? Then why are people still clicking? Why are they still watching? Why are companies still picking up the phone? Here's something regular people understand. Imagine opening a small restaurant. The local newspaper gives you a terrible review. You think, well, that's the end. But then customers keep lining up outside. At some point, whose opinion matters more? The one critic or the 100 people buying lunch every day? That's exactly how today's world works. The audience has a louder voice than the gatekeepers. Look around. A teenager with a smartphone can build a bigger audience than some TV channels. A YouTuber filming in their bedroom can pull in more views than $1 million production. Some podcasters are getting more listeners than radio stations that have been around for decades. The rules changed, and some people still haven't noticed. That's why the old playbook doesn't always work anymore. You can't simply write a negative headline and expect everybody to fall in line. People are curious. They'll go watch for themselves. They'll make up their own minds. That's power. And that's exactly why Meghan keeps moving forward. No matter what the headlines say, people still choose to check out her projects. Nobody's holding a remote saying, you must watch Meghan. People are making that choice on their own. That's what real influence looks like. Not forcing attention, earning it. Show me one person on this planet who everybody agrees on. I'll wait. The point isn't universal approval. The point is connection. If your work speaks to people, they'll keep showing up. They'll watch, they'll listen, they'll support, and no headline can stop that. That's probably why some critics seem so frustrated. The old formula doesn't have the same power anymore. People don't just read the story. They go straight to the source. They stream the show. They listen to the podcast. They try the recipe. Then they decide for themselves. That's a completely different world from 20 years ago. So when people ask how Meghan keeps landing new opportunities despite all the negativity, I think the answer is pretty straightforward. She isn't waiting for permission from people who've already decided they don't like her. She's speaking directly to the audience. And in today's world, that's the only conversation that really counts. Now, squaddies, before we wrap this up, I think there's one lesson in all of this that has nothing to do with royalty. It's about life. Have you noticed something about Meghan? She doesn't seem interested in attending every argument she's invited to. Think about how exhausting that would be. Imagine waking up every morning, grabbing your phone and saying, right, who am I fighting today? No thanks. Some people are addicted to proving strangers wrong. Meghan seems to have picked a different strategy. While one group is busy writing angry headlines, she's planning the next project.
While people are arguing online, she's signing another deal. While critics are recycling the same old talking points, she's creating something new. That's a completely different mindset, and honestly, it's a lesson a lot of us could use. Because let's face it, some people don't actually want answers, they want your attention. They want you stuck in the comments section all day defending yourself, while your own dreams sit on the bench collecting dust. Don't fall for it. You know what's funny? The people shouting the loudest often expect you to stop your life just to respond to them. Meanwhile, your bills still need paying, your family still needs you, your goals are still waiting. Life doesn't pause because somebody on the internet is having a bad day. That's why I respect Meghan's approach. She doesn't seem to spend all her energy trying to convince people who've already made up their minds. Instead, she keeps moving. One opportunity becomes another. One achievement opens the door to the next one. One chapter closes, another begins. That's how progress works. It's like planting a tree. You don't stand there every 5 minutes arguing with people who said the seed would never grow. You water it, you protect it, you let time do the talking. Then one day they're standing in the shade of the very tree they laughed at. Now that's a plot twist. And here's something regular people understand better than anyone. When you're busy building your future, you have less time worrying about people rooting for your failure. That's freedom. You're no longer living for applause, you're living with purpose. That's a much better place to be. Will the critics disappear? Probably not. Some people have built entire careers around complaining. If Meghan baked cookies tomorrow, somebody would complain they were too round. If she planted flowers, someone would say they bloomed too confidently. You can't win that game, so why play it? The smarter move is exactly what we're watching unfold. Keep creating, keep learning, keep improving, keep surprising the people who said you couldn't. Because here's the truth, squaddies. Arguments are loud, results are louder. People can debate your potential forever, but they can't debate what you've already accomplished. That's why I think Meghan has figured out something that a lot of people spend years trying to learn. You don't have to answer every critic. You don't have to chase every rumor. You don't have to explain your worth to people determined not to see it. Sometimes the strongest response isn't a speech. It's simply living your life so well that your success finishes the conversation for you. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you never miss the next one. Drop your thoughts in the comments because I want to hear what you think. And if you loved this video, consider sending a super thanks to support the channel. Until next time, stay amazing, stay smiling. I'm your host, Miles, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!